Chairman, I'm Marsha Greenberger, co-president of the National Women's Law Center, and thank you very much for the invitation to appear today to mark the 35th anniversary of Title IX, and I appreciate that my full statement will be part of the record. The National Women's Law Center was founded in 1972, the year that Title IX was enacted, and enforcement of Title IX, the realization of its great promise, has been a major priority of the centers ever since, and I'm proud to say that Congresswoman Patsy Mink 4 times served on the board of the National Women's Law Center. Women have certainly made significant and laudable progress in education in the last 35 years, as Mr. Chairman, you've identified, but the job is not yet finished. The playing field is not yet level. Much remains to be done to ensure that women have true equal access and true equal opportunity in all areas of education, including athletics. And it is the area of athletics which will be the focus of my testimony today, although the National Women's Law Center is concerned and works on all of the facets of educational opportunity that Title IX covers. The continuing support and need for Title IX is underscored by the results of a national survey that the Center is releasing today. Over 8 in 10 adults, actually 82%, support Title IX. And this support crosses the political spectrum. 86% of Democrats, 78% of Republicans, 78% of independents favor the law. And the survey dramatically demonstrates as well that discrimination against young women remains alive and well on our nation's playing fields. An astounding 22% of the survey respondents, a sample that represents more than actually 50 million adults if you apply it across the population, were themselves personally aware of recent situations in which girls' sports teams were treated less favorably than boys' teams. It's hardly surprising, therefore, that 88% of survey respondents support girls or their parents taking action to correct situations in which girls' teams are treated inequitably. And this support, too, is consistent across genders and political affiliation. But only 40% of respondents knew what to do to enforce the law. With the public largely ill-equipped to enforce Title IX on its own, the Center also undertook and is releasing today a report analyzing the results of its just concluded examination of enforcement efforts by the Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights over the last 5 years, and the nature of the athletic complaints that it has received. This report, Barriers to Fair Play, shows by the complaints filed and the relief secured that 35 years after the enactment of Title IX, women are still given fewer opportunities than males to participate in sports, and that even when schools give girls a chance to play, too often that opportunity comes with second-rate facilities, equipment, coaching, publicity, and other services. It is striking to see how many complaints involve high schools, and the Women's Sports Foundation recently released a report documenting that young women are shortchanged in intercollegiate sports as well. The Center's report also documents that the Office for Civil Rights is not doing its job as it should. It is the Office for Civil Rights that has the chief responsibility for enforcing Title IX and making sure that our taxpayer dollars are spent by educational institutions in a fair and equitable way. They are, the Office for Civil Rights, supposed to be conducting their own reviews, compliance reviews, of federally funded schools across the country, in addition to investigating complaints of discrimination that the Office for Civil Rights receives. But as the Center's investigative report shows, during the last 5 years, the Office for Civil Rights initiated only one compliance review of a school's athletics program. And this is really an abdication, a serious abdication of OCR's enforcement responsibilities. Because OCR enforcement efforts have fallen so short, ordinary people must shoulder the burden themselves, and you will hear from one of our heroes, Mr. Moat, who has done that very thing. We need more people who will be able to vindicate their own rights, and as a result, the Center is issuing Breaking Down Barriers also today, a new report which we prepared with DLA Piper Law Firm to explain to advocates how to vindicate those rights. We call on Congress, however, to step up also to help with the enforcement of Title IX. First of all, to engage in oversight responsibilities with the Office for Civil Rights to be sure that it's doing its job, which we think our report documents it is not doing as it should. Second, Congress must pass the High School Athletics Accountability Act that would require high schools to provide the gender breakdown of their treatment of sports teams, their support for it, to shine that spotlight on high school athletics, as there is a report now available for intercollegiate athletic participation and support. And finally, Congress must secure nullification of the so-called additional clarification that the Department of Education issued late on a Friday afternoon in March 2005, with no notice or opportunity for public comment, that cuts back substantially and dramatically on Title IX's interpretation